In this video we are going to look at source transformation. By source transformation, we mean the transformation of a power source from a voltage source to a current source, or from a current source to a voltage source. Sometimes this becomes a matter of convenience or a matter of simplifying further calculations downstream. Regardless of why we want to do it, we can do it. We can do it on paper as long as we know how to convert one to the other. Let's start with a voltage source transformation. A voltage source would look like this. The voltage source being V volts, having an internal resistance of our subscript V. These are known quantities. What we want to do is to turn it into a current source that would be equivalent to the voltage source if we're to use it in a circuit. So we would replace the voltage source with a current source in parallel with an internal parallel resistor. What we have to determine are the values of the current source and the value of the internal parallel resistance. We can do this by simply using Norton's theorem. Using Norton's theorem to find the equivalent resistance, we remove the voltage source and replace it with a short. We then measure the resistance of the circuit, which is simply our subscript V. So our V would equal Ri, and we are part way there. Now in determining what the current is, we again use Norton's theorem. We do this by shorting out the terminals and measuring the current that would flow. Ohm's law tells us the amount of current being drawn when the terminals are shorted, when driven by the voltage V. So the current of our current source would be V all over our subscript V. Now we have determined what I and R is in our current source. We now have a way of converting a voltage source into a current source. If we want to convert a current source into a voltage source, we take the same steps, only in this time we're going to be using the Thevenin equivalent circuit. Our current source would look like this. Of course, and we want to end up with a voltage source that would look like this. So we now have to calculate the new source voltage and resistance. We start by using the Thevenin equivalent, replacing the power sources with the required shorts or opens. In this case it's a current source. So we replace it with an open and measure the resistance, which is simply the resistance. Our subscript I. So now we want to determine what the source voltage will be. This is simply the voltage across the terminals if we let the source current run through the internal resistance. Which again, using Ohm's law to obtain the voltage source would be the current times resistance. We now have a way of converting a current source to a voltage source. Stay tuned to this site, as I will be diving into more information on electrical installations. In the meantime, take advantage of the availability of my 50-page electrical power crib sheets, if you haven't already downloading them. Simply fill out the information requested when you go to this website. https://bit.ly/47y3 and lastly h. As I said, stay tuned for future releases on this site that will provide you with more on my courses. You can also directly access my StanStore courses at this website. https://stan.store/g V B